The warning ignored. The stars above burned cold and distant as the Varnak fleet drifted into Earth's sector. The commander of the fleet, General Roal, stood on the bridge of his lead warship, staring at the blue-green planet on the screen. Earth looked small, calm, and harmless, but behind that calm floated a warning, one echoed through deep space for decades. Do not attack the humans. You will not survive the response. Many alien empires had heard that message. Some laughed at it. Some remembered old scars and stayed away. But the Varnak Empire believed in strength through conquest, and Earth was in their path. Roal turned to his second-in-command, a quiet but loyal officer named Terran. Scan the planet. Defense level? Minimal surface weapons, one orbital station, no major fleet nearby, Terran replied. Pathetic. Roal scoffed. The humans have grown soft. They've forgotten how to fight. This planet will fall in a day, Terran hesitated. Sir, the records from the last century, I don't care about ghost stories, Roal barked. Those were isolated incidents. Besides, we are stronger now, faster, smarter. But deep in his gut, Terran felt unease. Long ago, another race, the Kalari, had said something similar. Their entire homeworld was now a radioactive wasteland, and it was humanity that turned it to ash. Still, orders were orders. The Varnak fleet entered Earth's orbit. Civilians below watched the sky light up as massive ships blocked the sun. Emergency alerts echoed across cities. Earth's single defense station powered up, but it was no match for a full invasion fleet. Back on the bridge, Roal gave the signal. Begin the assault. Fire on the orbital station. Show them the price of weakness. Explosions ripped through the quiet of space as beams of red and blue light lanced out. The station was gone in moments. Earth's defenses collapsed. But Earth didn't scream. Earth didn't beg. Earth didn't reply. Instead, Earth went silent. Roal grinned. Too easy. Begin the landing sequence. As Varnak dropships prepared to descend, all communications with Earth were lost. Then one by one the dropships vanished from the radar. What is happening? Roal shouted. Where are the landing parties? No answer. The screens glitched. Static. Then darkness. And then, without warning, a transmission came through. It was a human voice. Calm. Cold. Measured. You were warned. Attack humans. And face extinction. Roal froze. What is that? Who dares? The screen changed. A single ship appeared behind the Varnak fleet. Small. Dark. No visible weapons. No life signs. What is that craft? Terran asked. It just appeared. Roal narrowed his eyes. Destroy it. 5 Varnak destroyers locked on and fired. The unknown human ship moved once. Just once. And all 5 destroyers vanished. No explosion, no wreckage, no signal. Just gone. Terror crawled up Roal's spine. Send the full fleet. Wipe that ship out. Dozens of Varnak warships fired. Missiles, beams, plasma. The black ship didn't dodge. It didn't need to. Nothing touched it. Then it spoke again. We do not forget. We do not forgive. We are humanity. In a flash of white light, the Varnak flagship shuddered. Half the fleet blinked out like dying stars. Roal watched in horror as thousands of his soldiers simply disappeared. He fell to his knees. What have we done? He whispered. Too late. He understood. The warning wasn't a bluff. It wasn't a myth. It was a promise, and humanity always kept its promises. The black ship, the Varnak flagship, floated in silence. The hum of power cores and engine thrusters had gone quiet. A thick layer of dread pressed on everyone aboard. Outside the viewing window, the black human ship remained still like a predator waiting for movement. Terran stared at it, his voice barely above a whisper. It didn't even fire weapons. It just erased them. Roal gripped the edge of the command console. Sweat dripped down his brow. His once bold voice was now thin, shaking. This is impossible. No species has this power. No one answered him. On the lower decks, crew members tried to scan the black ship again. No energy signatures, no life signs, no identifiable engine structure. It was as if it wasn't made of matter at all. Then, a ripple passed through space, gentle, like a wave on a quiet lake. The black ship moved, only slightly, but enough to shift every Varnak vessel into alert mode. Red lights flashed across their systems, shields rose, weapons rearmed. Orders to fall back echoed across the fleet. But it was too late. The black ship disappeared from their view and reappeared directly beside the flagship's starboard hull. Evasive maneuvers, Terran shouted. The flagship twisted to the side, engines roaring to life. The ship tried to turn to escape, but the black ship stayed with them like a shadow that could not be shaken. Then came the voice again. This is your second and final warning. Roal slammed his fist on the console. We will not bow to ghosts. He barked a command. The flagship's main cannon charged, a weapon that had melted asteroids and split moons. Fire. A beam of superheated energy burst toward the black ship. It struck, but there was no sound, no explosion. The beam touched the black surface and vanished, like it had never existed. Then the black ship glowed. It wasn't a glow of light. It was a shimmer, like reality bending. And suddenly Roal's ship, the mighty Varnak flagship, began to deform. Panels twisted, steel groaned, screens went white. Tehran screamed, "We're being pulled. Space is collapsing." But there was no escape. Systems crashed, lights flickered. Crew members vanished mid-sentence, and then just as suddenly it stopped. Silence returned. The flagship was still intact, but no other Varnak ships remained. The fleet, hundreds of vessels, was gone. Only the black ship remained beside them. And then, it vanished. No flash, no jump. Just disappeared. Roal stared at the empty screen. He slumped into his chair, eyes blank. It was real, they told us. The warnings were real. Tehran stood beside him, pale and still. We challenged them, and we were nothing. Below, Earth continued to rotate calmly, peacefully. The humans had never fired a fleet. They had sent only one ship, and that was enough. Echoes of the past, the Varnak flagship drifted silently in Earth's orbit, the only survivor of what had been the mightiest fleet in their sector. Within the command deck, nothing moved for several minutes. It was as if the ship itself had stopped breathing. Tehran finally broke the silence. There were stories from the old wars, the human wars, back when they were new to the stars. Roal didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on the darkness beyond the window, searching for that black ship again. But it was gone. Tehran continued quietly. One of the archives I studied spoke of something they called the Leviathan Protocol, a final weapon, never used in full. It wasn't a bomb, it wasn't a gun, it was a shift, a rewrite of matter. Reality itself, they said. Fairy tales, Roal muttered, though his voice held no strength. Legends told to scare fools. Tehran turned slowly. So were we, until today. Roal said nothing. Elsewhere on the ship, the crew was in shock. Medics reported mental breakdowns. Engineers sat beside their consoles, afraid to even touch their screens. Many had seen their comrades disappear right in front of them, without fire, without pain, without trace. Erased like lines in sand. Hours passed. Earth sent no transmission, no demand, no declaration. The humans didn't even gloat. They didn't need to. Down on the planet, in a secure underground command bunker, a man in a dark gray uniform reviewed orbital reports. His badge bore no name, only a symbol, an old Terran wolf with metal eyes. Another officer entered the chamber. "Sir, the Varnak fleet has been neutralized. Only one ship remains." The man nodded. "The message? Broadcasted on all frequencies. Across 5 systems. Word is spreading already. The Varnak Empire is halting military movement in the outer colonies." The officer paused. "Should we finish the last ship?" The man looked out at the stars on the screen. No. Let them return. Let them remember. He placed a small data crystal into a locked terminal. The words etched on its surface. Project Black Mirror. Level 0 response. Let the galaxy talk, he said. Let them understand. Back on the flagship, Ro'al made the order himself. Set course for home. We'll report everything. Every detail. The Varnak will never return here. Ever. Terran raised an eyebrow. What if they don't believe us? Ro'al turned slowly. They will. And in the deep cold of space across hundreds of alien channels, a new warning was born. You may conquer worlds. You may destroy empires. But if you attack humanity, you do not get a second chance. The galactic reaction news of the failed Varnak assault spread faster than light. From the icy moons of Relos to the floating cities of Miru Prime, whispers turned into panic. Entire sectors halted their patrols. Merchants rerouted their trade routes to avoid Terran space. Even pirate guilds known for their fearlessness erased Earth from their maps. In the High Council chamber of the Varnak capital, Ro'al stood before the throne. The room, once filled with confidence and arrogance, now echoed with silence. Counselors stared at him, some in disbelief, others in fear. You lost the entire fleet, one of them hissed. And you brought back only this tale of a ghost ship? Ro'al didn't flinch. Not a ghost, a weapon, a warning, a line we should never have crossed. The head counselor leaned forward. You expect us to believe that humans erased our fleet with a single ship? Ro'al lifted his gaze. No. I expect you to survive. So listen carefully. He detailed every moment. The black ship, the voice, the sudden disappearance of destroyers, the way space itself bent around them. He spoke of the fear, the silence, and the undeniable power Earth had unleashed without a single declaration of war. When he was done, no one laughed. No one mocked. Instead, the room remained still until the oldest counselor, who had served during the ancient border wars, stood and said, I heard such a story once before I was appointed, a planet glassed in hours, entire star fleets swallowed without trace. It was called retaliation. The others finally understood. A decree was issued across the Varnak Empire. No ship shall enter Terran space. No vessel shall provoke a human craft. No aggression. Not even a word, and the rest of the galaxy followed. Back on Earth, hidden among the human colonies and deep stations, agents watched the response. Reports flooded in. The Drekar Republic is pulling back patrols. The Zanir clans are seeking a non-aggression pact. Even the outer syndicates are asking for safe trade lanes. Humanity, once underestimated and ignored, was now treated like a force of nature, a silent one. Because humans said nothing. They did not explain. The black ship, they did not boast, they only watched and waited, and every species knew. The silence was the loudest threat of all. The forgotten trigger, while empires across the stars scrambled to rewrite their policies, few stopped to ask why the Varnak fleet had attacked Earth in the first place. The trigger had been small, forgotten, buried in bureaucracy. A border dispute in Sector 9, near an unclaimed asteroid field. A human mining vessel, registered to a private Earth-based company, had accidentally entered a Varnak resource zone. It had been collecting rare isotopes used in deep space fuel. The Varnak patrol ship, young and eager to impress, opened fire. The mining ship didn't even have weapons. All hands were lost. Civilians, among them were farmers, engineers, and 2 children. The Terran Republic sent a formal protest. The Varnak Empire ignored it. Another warning followed. Simple, clear, direct. Cease aggression, or consequences will follow. But Varnak pride was strong. They laughed it off. That was their final mistake. Humanity didn't launch missiles. They didn't send ambassadors, they sent a message. Not through words, but through action and the black ship. It hadn't just appeared randomly. It had watched, It had waited, because humanity had changed. Long ago, they fought wars with ships and guns like everyone else. But over the centuries, Earth evolved, technology grew, but so did memory. They never forgot pain, never forgot betrayal, and above all, never forgot their dead. The black ship was more than metal. It was part of a system older than any Varnak archive, hidden beneath Earth's crust, shielded under quantum locks, waiting for authorization from a special command, node, only activated in response to an unjustified civilian massacre. That activation was made quietly, not by a president, not by a general, but by a grandfather who had lost his son and grandchildren aboard the mining vessel. He had once served in Earth's Defense Corps. He still remembered the code. He sent the signal, and the ship awakened. Humanity had not attacked first. They had simply responded. And when they did, the galaxy learned the rule. Do not harm humans. Not one, not ever. A quiet peace. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. No treaties were signed. No official words were exchanged. But borders quietly shifted. Military ships stopped patrolling near human space. Trade routes adjusted to give Earth a wide berth. Even smugglers and pirates who once boasted about raiding Terran cargo now refused to speak the name Earth out loud. There was no grand war, no invasion, only silence. A quiet peace built on fear, memory, and respect. Back on Earth, in Bediadits, an underground facility hidden beneath the old Andes Mountains, the black ship had returned. It hovered silently within its containment bay, untouched, unmarked, almost like a shadow carved into metal. Around it stood no guards, no scientists, no officers. Only a single plaque on the wall that read, "This is not a weapon, this is a promise." The man who had sent the activation code, the grandfather, stood alone at the observation window. His face was tired, lined with years, his eyes distant. A quiet voice behind him spoke. "They won't forget." He nodded. "Good. That's the point. They'll tell stories, twist the truth, turn it into fear." He turned slowly. "Let them, as long as they don't try again." The officer beside him shifted uncomfortably. "Do you think we overreacted?" He looked out at the black ship once more. "They killed children on a civilian ship and laughed when we asked for peace. We warned them. They chose pride over wisdom." The officer said nothing. Outside, the stars remained still. Across alien worlds, elders told stories to the young. Stories of a human world that answered violence with silence, and of a ship that didn't kill with fire, but with erasure, with judgment. Some doubted, some believed, but none dared to test it. And for the first time in generations, peace settled across the galactic rim, not because of diplomacy or treaties or mutual interest, but because no one wanted to see the black ship again. The final message years passed. Empires rose, alliances formed, and old rivalries simmered beneath the surface. But no fleet, no syndicate, no empire dared step into Terran space again. Earth remained quiet, watching, listening, and the black ship. It never left its cradle beneath the Andes. It remained still, silent as stone, dark as space itself. But every now and then, sensors flickered, as if it were dreaming or waiting. One evening, a young trainee arrived at the observation deck, fresh from academy, bright-eyed, full of questions. She had heard the stories, seen the data fragments, but still didn't quite believe them. Beside her stood the man who had once activated the ship. Now older, slower, but still sharp. "Is it true?" she asked. "About the Varnak, about what the ship did?" He said nothing for a moment, then quietly nodded. "Why not just destroy them outright?" she asked. "Why erase, bend space, all that? Why not just fire missiles?" He looked at her and smiled faintly. "Because war teaches nothing. Fear, however, lasts. She stared at the ship. And if someone attacks us again? The lights in the chamber flickered for the briefest second, not from power loss, but from something deeper. Something buried. He glanced at the ship. They were warned. A panel on the wall lit up, not from human touch, but from the ship itself. A single line glowed softly across the screen. Threat level, clear. Response, standing by. The man turned and began walking away. Come on, let the galaxy sleep easy. For now. And in distant star systems, across thousands of alien worlds, the warning remained carved into memory. Attack humans, and face extinction. The message didn't need repeating because it had already been delivered, and the galaxy would never forget it.